Hey, what's happening, everyone? Pragmatic Addict here. So, I have a sweet spot for coming of age films when I'm not constantly marathoning and binging the horror genre. For example, Boyhood. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Watching this film's trailer, this felt pretty identical to another coming of age film that I connected with enough, which is mid-90s, because with mid-90s, I got it. I got that life. I grew up into the skateboarding life. Growing up for a long time, my dream was actually, before I got into film and, movie criticism, my dream was actually to be a sponsored skateboarder one day. I'd actually say that behind film and movie criticism, that's probably my biggest passion still, skateboarding. And I will always argue that coming up with like a genuinely original coming of age film, especially as time goes on, it is very difficult because it's got to be able to resonate with you. For example, mid-90s, it isn't the most original film that I've ever seen. There's been plenty of coming-of-age skateboarder films, but with it being from a studio like A24, and with it going down some more dramatic and, pretty controversial routes at times, I feel like when it comes to coming-of-age films, you really have to have a specific vision. You really have to be willing to put a lot down and kind of go a lot harder. Now, Dìdi comes along, and I saw this film's trailer. I dug it. Actually felt a lot like mid-90s, but from a different studio and a different culture. Slightly different, like this kid wanting to be a filmer of skateboarding, not necessarily just trying to be a skater and fit in with that kind of clique. A lot of this character's, characteristics are kind of like centered behind the camera. He likes recording pranks, he likes getting into trouble, he wants to film for skateboarders, and that's what I liked about this film, is that it doesn't feel necessarily new or different, but the specific POV shots, the director's specific hand with direction, his emphasis on, certain things to make them stand out, to have more focus and capitalize on certain subjects when they are in the movie. That is what made this film stand out, which this film's official premise reads: in 2008, during the last month of summer before high school begins, an impressionable 13-year-old Taiwanese-American boy learns what his family cannot teach him: how to skate, how to flirt, and how to love your mom. Reading that premise, you aren't going to take too much from it. You're like, okay, it's a coming-of-age film about a boy being a boy in 2008. Yes, that is 100% what this film is. And I would actually say that, through the first, chunk of the movie, it didn't do anything special or new for me. I thought it was funny. I liked the characters and all, but it wasn't until this film was, a good portion of the way through, where just recreating this world from 2008, it wasn't until, a good portion of the movie where it fully sunk in and I fully saw, all that this director and all this film was, really gonna go into, where it hit me in a very special way, where I was like going to see a movie that takes place in 2008, you don't think much of it. You're like, oh, okay, it's a coming of age film. But again, with the emphasis and capitalizing that this director had on certain things, making certain things from not only that time, but also just feelings from this age, experiences the awkwardness and the feelings of loneliness, kind of the worst feelings that you could really go through, not having any friends, not knowing where you belong, feeling like you just suck at everything, not knowing how to navigate through anything, how dedicated and confident and passionate he was about recreating this time, this age, this culture. It really showed me what I had forgotten about, what I had left behind. It was just nice to go back to a time in such an explosive, dedicated, honest way. For how hard this director went, and with his specific roots, I can imagine how proper and honest and natural, as far as the variety of what he incorporated, how hands-on it was. And that's what I really loved about this movie, is just how personal it hit from this director and how clear you can see that from a filmmaking standpoint. This film's release date, it was kind of scattered. I was seeing a lot of things as far as the poster and the marketing, that it was coming out in July 26th. It came out today, August 9th, in my city. Only one theater, though, was playing it, and a couple showings a night. I also saw that August 16th is going to be the actual wide release date, where the 26th was just for New York and LA. Chances are that when you see this movie, it will be in a crowd, and what I loved is that everybody that saw this movie was, in my age group. And just seeing how everyone reacted to the uncomfortable, awkward scenarios that this kid going through puberty is going to go through, with him growing up, trying to be cool, trying to find his clique. Just, again, reliving those moments from that time, from that age and everything. You could just feel in the room that all these feelings were coming back to everyone. So yes, absolutely, I know that Cuckoo is out, but if you want a break from the not only horror, but the experimental horror, because I haven't seen that film yet, but I hear it's pretty fucking batshit. But if you just want something nice, definitely go see Didi and see it in the biggest crowd possible. I'm obviously going to give this film a positive review, which coincidentally, mid-90s is actually coming back to the theater for A24's Teenage Dream presentation. That comes out like this week. So I just thought that was pretty cool, like a pretty cool coincidence. But yes, guys, that is going to do it for my thoughts on Didi. Definitely let me know what you guys thought. For those that did see it, I would love to hear your guys' personal opinions on it. But with all that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.